So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
It's always interesting to see how people got into beer and got to where they are. So, like, you know, do you guys want to break down sort of how you got into it? Maybe, you know, whether you were home brewing before or how that
I am not a brewer at all. I actually was in home healthcare before this. Loved craft beer. Wanted something like this in Ann Arbor, and had a supportive wife that encouraged me to move on to do something I'd be passionate about. Had identified that there were a lot of breweries run by brewers that weren't necessarily the ops side, so I like the idea of taking on the operations and handling the day-to-day kind of back-end stuff to free someone up like Nick to just do their thing,
Right.
you know, without having to worry about payroll or other shit. So,
Right.
And, you know, kind of jumped into it without even knowing Nick yet. Second, I talked to Nick. It was like we are
this is
meant
it.
to be together.
We're in love.
I love that.
So yeah, I mean, that was April of 2015. Started writing a business plan, and in July of 2015 had Nick on board, and basically didn't even get the building till March of 16, and then didn't open till April of 17. So,
Right. You guys are fresh then.
and he had a year of being down. He moved from Traverse City, where he was at, down to Ann Arbor. We had a little over a year of brewing a pile of batches out of my garage.
Wow.
Having a
Testing stuff out.
group of friends that were committed to giving us feedback on them and just being harsh critics.
Good mates.
Tough job, eh?
Yeah, it was really tough.
All right.
Free beer.
We're coming over.
Free beer.
Again, really?
It was for poker
yes.
night too, so it made it every week at poker night we'd have a kegerator with
Nice.
beers ready
Four
for
beers on
us.
tap, rating system. But that was awesome, and that also helped us build a little community of people that were just really felt invested into it, and
Make it happen. That's
yeah.
cool, man.
So it was awesome. But yeah, and then we had time to travel in that year too, and really refine what we were doing while the construction process was going on.
Right. And that was why you guys came to Vermont and
Yeah.
Maine. and
Yeah, that
Oregon
was
and stuff.
we'd done a Portland trip earlier that year, and then
Portland,
did that
Oregon.
Yeah, Portland,
Oh,
Oregon.
yeah.
Yep, and then did a whole East Coast Vision Quest in October of 16.
So that was that was your research phase?
Yeah. And,
whole-
then
the
we
whole
did
time was
a bunch of
research
traveling in Michigan as well. We did
Yeah.
Swansea Day was at Jolly Pumpkin, which is Cantillon's.
Right.
They released the Swansea beer.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
It was, and that was a big part of it too. It was ridiculous. It's essentially the best sour beers in the country all in one place for a beer festival. So that had a lot of. It was
Hot
ridiculous.
dogs.
Yeah. It was crazy. So that definitely had a lot of influence on the sour beers that we do here. Okay. So
Where are you from? How'd you get there? Totally
Break it down.
jumped it.
I am.
Okay,
How far back do we want to go? I'm from New Jersey. Originally, I was born and raised in New Jersey. I grew up 12 miles outside of New York City.
Right.
I kind of got into cooking when I was in high school. This is all going to lead up to the final answer.
No,
here.
take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time.
The people want the full details.
Yeah, right. I went to school 3 elementary. So I grew up in Jersey. I worked at my uncle's catering business doing Italian food. You know, obviously northern Jersey is a lot of Italians. So I did a lot of Italian food, and I kind of really got interested in cooking, and I decided I want to go to culinary school. So I went to Johnson & Wales University in Providence, Rhode Island. And it's one of the better culinary schools in the United States, so I was really excited about that opportunity, and I got a degree in culinary arts there, and I was really, really racked with debt because I had gone to private college, so I had to take a job that would, kind of take care of me a little better, so I didn't necessarily get that dream job in a kitchen that I really wanted to work. I took a job at a university in New York City running the law school food service department, which, as you can imagine, is not super exciting or a great creative outlet, and I was kind of really grinding away and really not loving the way the direction my life was going. I was definitely not happy to go to work every day and doing the grind and drive from New York to Queens every single day, and it was just it was kind of a little bit of a miserable point in my life, and they were cutting back, and they started laying people off, and I got laid off. The whole time I was kind of been really into home brewing, and I really was like a lot of guys, was just like, I wish I could make this, my profession. And I got laid off. I had volunteered a few nights at a local brewery in New Jersey called Cricket Hill Brewery, and just for their bottling run, they had a bottling line from Germany that was made in the 1960s, and
Cool.
all the directions were in German, and nobody spoke
shit.
German, and I was just like grinding out on this machine, and I was like, as crappy as it was, like I was just in love with being at that place, and like walking around the tanks, and like just not even talking to people, just looking at the equipment and really being in love with what was happening there. And
I imagine you like touching the tanks and no one's around.
that's how it was though.
Just running your finger along.
Yeah, it was weird. Like I would break away from the group and just it was like a Budweiser commercial. And so I got laid off, and they really didn't bring on a lot of employees. They had a lot of interns. So I took an internship there, and I was a full-time unpaid intern for 4 months. And I just I had applied to other places. I applied to Rutgers University, is a big college in New Jersey, and they have a great dining program. I would have been a state employee, and it was a great offer. And like, I just was like, no, I don't. I'm gonna I'm gonna probably be in a bad financial situation for a long time, but I'm just gonna pass on that because I can't imagine going back to that life. It was just like, it wasn't an option for me anymore at that point. I had to be in brewing. I didn't tell my parents that for a long time because they would have been super angry about that. But so I took that full-time internship. I did that, and then I got a job offer at 508 Gastro Breweries, a little brew pub in New York City. Just brewing in their basement as an assistant brewer, and just really grinding it out and working super hard there. And I was there for a year, and then I was applying around, and I got a job opportunity offered to me at Right Brain Brewery, which is up in Traverse City.
Sounds about that.
Yeah, it's a decent sized brewery in Michigan for those who aren't aware, and it was a great opportunity, and I got the job, and then 2 weeks later I was living in Traverse City where I'd never been before. I'd never seen Traverse City, or my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time, but she's from Michigan. She's from the southern part of Michigan. And
Is that why you applied to?
no, not really. I was applying everywhere, and no one would have me at that point. I didn't really have a lot of experience. And Right Brain was one of the only places that ended up getting back to me, and it really, really worked out. I drove up to Traverse City from New Jersey out, and after less than a year, I had moved up to the head brewer position. I was there for almost 4 years. It was an awesome experience. And I started to want to make a move. I'm not really a winter person, so you guys being from Toronto, Canada, or Montreal, are probably a little...
Still doesn't make us winter people.
Yeah, I was
just
not,
as much.
the first winter I was up there, it was okay, and then the next winter was 150 inches of snow, and it was, negative 26 degrees with no wind chill, and I was just like,
Yeah,
I can't
live
I
like this.
can't live this life. The snow pile in front of my house would get as tall as the house. It was huge. You couldn't see the house anymore. So I started, yeah, right. So I started looking around, and I had applied. Tommy posted something on a brewery industry website, and I applied. And he called me 20 minutes later, and I was like, "This seems like this
Good
seems
fit.
legit."
Yeah.
And then we came down. I talked to him, and it was a really, really good fit. And then I came down, moved down here, and it was just a year of grinding on pilot batch beers and trying to figure it out. And now we're here.